Yeah, we're gonna just take a moment to honor this and smudge it. And I was explaining about the smudge, how we just take that moment to wash our hands in the smoke. It's a Zen moment. It also says whatever negativity you're carrying, stop carrying it. There's actually a variety of teachings that talk about that. Maybe this is part of that idea, that path. Because these are in straight rows. There's a teaching about a snake that talks about how it walks its path. Like that. Always, 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 always. I'm going to smudge first. If somebody reminds me about snakes, we'll talk about that for a second. I think it's perfect. So if you haven't smudged before, also you're welcome to just say no thank you. Some people have allergies to smoke. I want to point out this is not a religious ceremony. This is an extension of our philosophy of a way of walking through life. So it's not interfering with your belief system. It's just taking a moment in an very old style way to acknowledge yourself. Most of you're part of this. We're all part of this. And that's also what that is about too, that we're all part of that. So I hope we won't set off fireworks.
Stay away from that. Yeah.
So I'm not going to physically climb over here because it would damage these plant people. So.
Stay over here.
Just smoke detector.
Okay.
So let's have people come over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll pull her walk down to the building.
Come.
So there's no wrong way of doing this. My elder used to say, don't take a bathroom. With this, I'd like to welcome everybody here. That time when we shed those things that sometimes prevent us interacting with other people or restrict our interactions with other people.
Take a shot.
Mm-hmm. Moving behind you.
Want to go for a minute?
No, thank you. You sure? What happens?
1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yourself? Oh, sorry. You have it yourself. Just leave this to burn. Bonjour, Indishnikas, Jikandodam, Kirganishnavendal, Niwakasha Indishnikas. My Jowo is not that great. I am holding the Shawnee from the Six Nations. Kiyugan is my tribe of Turtle clan, and on my mom's side I'm German English, so I meld together those two worlds. And as a Turtle clan person, I do that on different levels as well. We say the Turtle clan, the Haudenosaunee talks about them all often as being interpreters, that we can live in that water world. We can go right down under the water and stay there a long time. That we can live half in and out of the water when we need to. We can walk up on the land when we want. And at all times when we feel the need, we carry our protection with us. We carry that safety with us. A lot of times you'll see them sitting half in and out of the water, looking up at the star world. So they say from that spirit world, from that dream world, they can interpret things right back down to Mother Earth and talk about them. My elder was Ojibwe, which is why I always start by introducing myself in Ojibwe out of respect for him and what he taught me and the things that came down through him from many, many years. This moment that we're taking to honor this belt, this wampum belt, you can see there's feathers there with it too. And those two beautiful straight rows, the wonderful purple color that I've always loved. It's actually an honor to be here and address it or be within its presence, because it embodies a concept and understanding and a set of laws from a long, long time ago. Not just when it was made, not just when it was talked about, not when it was put together. Those things that come together that made this important to who else? Everybody has to keep doing their work. Excuse me. No problem. So the idea of taking a moment to speak with, the idea that it's going to be moved from this location, it's going to be taken to a new home. And we were talking just before everybody else came about the idea of doing that. The idea that as a people, when we traveled, we took time to thank the land that we're on. And where we are here, this land, this area was the indigenous caregivers for this land were originally the Mississaugas. Now, of the new credit has been added, but I don't think we used of the new credit originally. That wasn't the name of that area. So we had those names, those ideals, those ways of doing things. So when we decided to leave an area, we were thankful for that area for providing a home. We were thankful for Mother Earth in that area providing whatever we needed to protect ourselves. So in this case, this building for a long time has shielded this wampum belt. Yes, it's in a case. That's fine. That's part of taking care of it. That's part of protecting it from whatever might be going by that may harm it. Because it doesn't matter what there is on Mother Earth, in some way, shape, or form, it can come to harm. As caregivers, as people who have a family, the family that surrounds us today, we like to take care of those ones and nurture. We like to nurture the spirit, the idea, the essence, the heart, everything that it carries. This is beautiful. This is two straight rows. Two beautiful straight rows, that purple, the rows in between. There are a lot of teachings about that. What we're here to address right now is the idea of moving, the idea of taking it to another place. And I was talking earlier about sometimes, and I can't talk Pan-American because all the tribes are a little bit different. Some of them I carry teachings from, many I don't. And the ones I carry I only know a little bit about. But I know sometimes there was a dance done. People would move to a new place. All the young people would get out, all the dancers would get out, and what they would do is start in the very center and start doing ever widening circles, almost like a spiral. And they would dance and sing and pray, and as they got wider and wider and wider and wider, and finally made an area big enough to start that new village, maybe start that new camp, that they knew it was a safe place. They knew what was there. I guess in a physical sense, it's like putting up your camp. You make sure there's no rocks. You want to make sure there's nothing dangerous there for your family. So you, in effect, make an area that's safe. So when, and I'm hoping when we go to that new place, we'll have that time to slide into the ceremony of welcome to. So it's lived here for a while. We honor that this area has provided that spiritual, that physical, that protection, that nourishment. And that's a gift from Mother Earth. We say no matter what it is, no matter how we do things, no matter how we take things, part of Mother Earth has to give up what she's doing to provide that protection, provide that nourishment, provide that spiritual area. So even this building, this concrete, this steel, and other things this building is made of, all it came from Mother Earth, every bit of it. So we acknowledge Mother Earth and thank her for providing that. We thank her for being there when we needed that. We thank her for these buildings. Even though some of the buildings are destructive to Mother Earth, she still gives up. And as mothers, sometimes, I won't say our kids are destructive, but we certainly give up some things for them. And we do that in a good spirit. Most of the time. We do that in a good spirit. And I like to speak always with a bit of humor, because I have a little 5-year-old as well. Didn't make it today, he apologizes. So the idea that Mother Earth has given up things, we honor it and acknowledge that and thank her for that. The idea that there is a path to go to the next location, that along that path will be taken care of. I've been told this will be taken down carefully, it will be stored carefully, it will be taken care of. That's nice to hear. That's wonderful. So it's someone else saying what's special to you, we're going to honor. Those 2 straight rows, we have a teaching within our peoples about snakes and how when they walk a path, the snake will do this. Really careful. It's on a journey. It's very much like us. And the snake reminds us that when we're on a journey, we need to look at all of our path to understand it. We need to learn all about our path. So the snake does that when it walks, when it goes across the land. It always keeps its belly to Mother Earth because it still wants to be in touch with her and acknowledge it is her that supports him. It looks everywhere. Its tongue's coming out. It feels the vibrations. It hears. It even senses the heat. And while it's doing that, it can determine what path it needs. If it runs into an obstacle, you never see a snake just sitting there looking at a rock. Well, if they're sunning, they might. But they look around because they've looked at all their path. They know the next place to go to get around what they need to get around those obstacles. So it's a way of walking. The reason I talk about that a little bit, because this talks about an agreement. This talks about a law. This talks about people coming together and saying, this is how we're going to do something. This is how we're going to walk together. That's a very ancient thing for our people. There was a time when we gave our word. That was our law. That might be represented in an object or a gift, but your word was your law, because when we do these ceremonies, when we talk that way, if we follow those traditions and philosophies, we're speaking from our heart. And when you speak from your heart, that should be that law that you carry inside. That should be that driving foundation for everything. And when we do that, we are committed. So we would say we're committed to that way. So this is, I like to look at this as a little bit of a path where the direction has been seen, that part of the path is gone. And even the snake might go through there in a straight line because it says, we've already determined this path. We know what needs to happen. We know where we're walking ahead. It's a straight line. We're walking in a symbiotic way together. And this is what we've agreed to. And this is what we're going to do. And that falls under the most ancient of laws. I said I'm going to do something, I'll do something. We agreed we're going to do something, we agreed to do it. I hate to say it would make a lot of law giving redundant, which would put us all out of a job. We wouldn't need this building, but we do live in the real world. So we need these little reminders, we need these teachings, we need these things, we need these ceremonies to constantly remind us this is how we're supposed to walk. One of the oldest teachings is right up there in the sky, and a lot of people walk around lately going, oh, it's so hot. But that sun's exercising and doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's rising in the east, it's traveling across the sky, it's setting in the west. Every single time it does that, clouds, rain, shine, beautiful clear days, it's reminding us that this is the path we're supposed to follow. We're supposed to do what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to walk how we're supposed to walk. Come on, get up. It's one of the old prophecies. Come on, get up. Let's do what we're supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, we need to have that done. And we need to walk that way. And that's a path that we need to follow. And that's part of what this talks to you about, among many other things, many other teachings that go along with it, is we've agreed to a path, we've agreed to a way of walking together. And when you agree to walk with somebody, like within a relationship, or within a family, even in a workplace, you've agreed to achieve a goal together. And it's a straight line to that goal sometimes, once you understand it. So they've laid down those laws, they've made those agreements, they've made those treaties, they've talked the words, they've shared those words. And that's very special. And it's a gift to hear that. It's a gift to be part of that. And it's a gift to be able to walk within that and keep it happy. So we say in the old times that the eagle was the one that flew the highest. One of his jobs, one of her jobs, was to fly over the land and watch everything and to ensure that people were doing what they were supposed to be doing. And that vision is so long, so far, so distant. And it can see so far ahead. Yet that eagle still has that ability when it wants to dive straight down to Mother Earth really fast. Have you ever seen them? They're incredibly fast. And they will pinpoint what they need to do within a few inches. Whether it's catch what they need, find what they need, or land what they need to. And they do it so fast, so direct. And saying when we need to do something, sometimes that path of doing it needs to happen when it needs to happen. So in this case, we need to move our home. There's that old ceremony. We need to move somewhere else. And I think all of us at some point have moved. we'd still be living with mom and dad in the same house. So we say we need to step up and do those things. And to do those things, we need to prepare ourselves. And we need to have something in place to where we're going. Or an understanding that when we get there, we'll take care of what we need to. That's part of this ceremony. And I want to say, if anybody has anything to add to this, please, you're welcome. Those are those things, that's what we want to consider. And that's the journey, the spirit of the journey that I want this wampum belt to take care of. Yes, we're going to set you aside. Perhaps set aside is the wrong thing. Yes, we're going to take you and get you ready for another journey, but we have a new home for you. And we want that, the spirit of that, to know that. So in a lot of our languages, there's no inanimate part. There's no, everything is considered alive, and it's treated that way. It's treated as if it has not as if, it deserves that respect. Whether it's an object, whether it's a thing, whether it's a person, an animal, a plant, a tree, or a building. The more respect we give to those things, the longer they live. So I know in our family, it's not uncommon to apologize. And I always use the story, my little boy was walking down the hall when he was 2.5, and he bumped into the fan. Bang, I heard it. And all I heard is, "Sorry, fan." And I felt good, and I realized where I got it. I got it from my father when I was little. That even though it's an object, it's special. It's something that took somebody a long time to make. It came from Mother Earth. And the fact that he apologized to it openly, as if it had that life, it does have that life, made me feel good. So I'm hoping as he grows up, he'll look at everything that way. Whether it's objects, people, the laws have life. This has life. So I'm going to say miigwech. I'm going to kind of leave it there. I'm going to kind of end it there. If anybody else wants to speak.
Maybe I'll just say a little bit about the belt itself.
Yes.
So the two-row wampum belt here is a copy of a belt that was given in 1613 by the Five Nations, the Haudenosaunee, to the Dutch as part of a very early treaty agreement. And the belt itself and the design wasn't something new in 1613. It was part of a very, very old tradition. The exchange of wampum belts is how the Haudenosaunee, many nations along the east coast of the United States and Canada, or we call it Turtle Island, how they set arrangements. The beads are set in a mnemonic kind of device, so that the two purple rows are said to represent the two nations, the Haudenosaunee and the Dutch. The white is, there's 3 rows of beads in between, and they're said to represent peace and friendship and respect. Some people say, it's sometimes taught, that they're considered to be in a river, and each nation is in its own canoe on the river. The 2 rows never touch, and so neither nation is supposed to steer the direction of the other. The same belt, a very similar one, was made and later given to the British when the British arrived and displaced the Dutch. Similar belts were also exchanged with the French. This particular belt was made by a student named Jean Teillet, who was a member of the Royal Ballet of Canada, and came here to law school. She's now a very successful litigator. And she realized one day that she spends all her time here amongst all these students, and there was no reflection of First Nations law. And so she went home and made a belt and got permission from the dean to hang it. It's been hanging here in this spot for 20 years. The case is actually new. Jean donated a case and a new thing a couple of years ago. It's going to find a new home in Victoria College, where the law school is going to be moving to temporarily while we put a new wing on the building, and we'll bring it back in 2 years.
Good to hear.
Thanks.
Anybody else have words? You guys?